Hey guys, welcome back to another Underground Virtuosos video. My name is Paul. I'm a violin viola teacher located here in San Diego, California. So let's get started. We are talking about left hand finger strength and also articulation today. Now, the word strength, when we talk about finger strength, sometimes, or if not most of the time, players when they first start learning, even when you're advanced, you find your left hand to want to tense up for a couple of reasons. Maybe your music is hard, um, or maybe you're trying to gain control. You're really trying, and often we use force to get something done, but that cannot really happen when you do play on violin or viola because it will prevent you from being able to vibrato properly, will prevent you from playing things like double stops. It will feel very uncomfortable and difficult, or even playing fast. If you want to play fast passage, that it becomes very hard. So the idea of strength, in a way, is just that this joint right here is tall, and then your fingers are coming down fast, which I'll get into once we talk about articulation. Okay, so now if you have your instrument, violin or viola, and you want to try with me, feel free to do so. Okay, so articulation. Now that we briefly talked about, the finger joint here being tall and strong. Now, what we're gonna do is I want you to imagine your finger like a hammer or a scorpion's tail, something that strikes really quickly, strikes and then comes back up. Okay, you can try this. Try this just on your table or something hard at surface. So tap your fingers really quickly. You can tap individually. You can tap them all together. Okay, now you can probably hear sound, right? I'm going to use my instrument just for reference here. So you can hear that tapping sound. Now, I'm not tapping extremely hard because I obviously don't want to damage the instrument, but eventually we're going to move onto here and tap in the fingerboard area. So I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm gonna tap here for you. So you probably heard a couple sounds. Yeah, the first one is you heard a note, which is an F sharp, but it's not the note that you're listening for. It's the actual tapping sound that you're looking for. If you tell me to press instead, it might sound like this. Right? And there you don't hear that tap sound, which comes from a quick strike down onto your string, onto your fingerboard. Yeah, so you can hear these little taps that's coming down, and that is essentially what finger articulation is. And to be able to do that will help you perform, faster music. So that's something you can apply to into your own music once you get the hang of it. But here's what you can do. You can just start, hold your instrument in this resting position, just test it out yourself. Okay, test this out yourself here. Tapping. All right. Now I can tell you it's going to take a little bit of time especially for the beginners. It takes some time to develop this sound and this feeling. Okay. Now once you can do that, you can go into playing position. And what I'm going to ask you to do first is actually take your thumb off the violin and do the tapping. So your thumb is going to be off the violin neck. It's not going to be touching whatsoever, and you're going to tap. Okay. Now the reason I'm asking you to take off your thumb first is because the thumb will most likely want to squeeze against the neck of the instrument to, once again, to make something happen. But that's what's going to prevent it from doing it is all this tension, all this squeezing. It's not tension, it's not squeezing. Don't confuse that with articulation. Okay, so being quick, coming down, and striking like hammering, right? Um, but just remember, when you think of it tapping, I like to call it tap because when you tap, your finger lifts back up. Okay, so that's the exercise to be able to do that. If you catch yourself squeezing your thumb, remove it from the neck of the instrument and try just doing it with your fingers, because you should be able to perform this without your thumb on the fingerboard at all. Okay, and one last thing is that your index finger might not make as much tapping sound as the rest of your fingers. Yes, even less, I guess, even less than the pinky, because the finger is the one that is closest to the fingerboard, and it doesn't have as much motion as the rest of your fingers have. Okay. All right. So remember, this is tapping, and it's not so much of a pressing or squeezing. And one last thing, apply it into your own music. So if you're practicing something difficult, something fast, and you always struggle with it, just play it first with only your instrument and your left hand. So even without the bow first, and just run through the passage that you're trying to work on with finger articulation. And then after that, you can do it with the bow. And you might find that your notes maybe suddenly become a little more clear, or a little more precise, articulated, and those are usually good signs that you're doing it correctly. Okay. All right. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe and leave any comments, suggestions down below. And I'll see you guys next time.